to Revolutionary Talk. This is episode 3 in the meditation series. We're going over body scanning, getting super mindful with this one.
Scan real quick.
Yeah. What are we talking about?
What does body scanning even mean? I mean, give us a rundown of what is body scanning, Kristen?
I would say my definition is taking awareness of where you are in the moment.
More definition.
Okay, that's
please.
very
Tell me more.
generic. I mean, so where you are in space and time.
Now you're just adding. What are you specifically scanning for whenever you do a body scan?
Okay, for instance, so muscle testing.
Uh-huh.
You can figure out if your body is needing something based on holding it
Uh-huh.
and how your body responds to it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you hold your cell phone, there's actually, like, you can show that your body will respond with less strength when you're holding a cell phone versus something that
And then it allows it to break. And how does that even work? Speaking of scanning of just that, so muscle testing is if you give, it's a yes, and if you hold, it's a no.
Well, no. So typically, can we demonstrate this? Like, is that
Let's demonstrate it.
okay?
So if you can't, I would almost relate this to if you scan your body and you don't know those emotions, then you could use something like this method to help break it down.
Well, typically, like if you were holding something, like if there was a food item that you wanted to buy at the store and you weren't sure if this was good for you. Muscle testing, as an example, if you're holding that food item close to your chest and close down your eyes, if you're standing up, and notice if your body sways either forward or backwards. Oftentimes, they'll say that if you lean forward, your body is responding positively to it, meaning that it would like to have that, or it's good for it. Versus backwards, it's wanting to get away from it.
It's crazy. I always find myself in meditation falling forward, and then I go back, and then I'm like, oop, too far, oop, back, whoop.
Are you like debating, do I want to do
Yeah,
this?
well, I'm trying to
don't
think
want to
too
do this?
if I'm scanning during, because typically like scanning to me is I'll breathe, I'll do my breath work, I'll get centered, I'm relaxed, and then I pretty much start from my head to toe, and I'm just like, where are there any indicators of my body saying I need to pay attention to this area? So it's just like, ooh, my shoulder's a little tight today. And then I'll be like, why are you tight today, shoulder? And then just kind of work through that process of addressing it, creating awareness, holding it, and then being like, what the heck do you want this attention for? And then let it tell its attention and then move on. And I'm like, all right, next spot, maybe like my lower back. Ooh, that is a little tight today. And then, just endlessly scanning, paying attention to those areas, and then going, all right, like I'm giving you the attention you need. Let's move past this. And then at the end of the meditation, rescan and go, oh, perfect, I'm great. But it's never like that exactly. But.
Yeah. Well, it reminds me a little bit too of like energy healing sessions where and sometimes, I don't know how well this involves meditation, but really you're just like getting a feeling for all different parts of your body, just being super mindful of yourself, so that then when you get deeper into meditation, it's like your attention to detail, like it just goes up so much because you're only mindful of one thing at a time.
Yeah.
And I see that as a huge benefit.
Yeah, it's funny that you brought up the energy healing scanning, because that is, essentially, whenever you do energy healing, all you're doing by being in the presence of somebody is scanning their energy, and then whenever you do your work, however you do it, that's a big part of it, is also like, I feel a little weird area here, and when you actually scan somebody, you can feel it. It's almost the same way on you, and it's cool. Scanning is, it's so funny how energy segments and categorizes. So.
It is, and thinking about my experience with massage therapy, like it's very similar, but I'm feeling the physical. I was explaining this to my mom earlier. I was like, wow, I've been training for the last decade to feel the body in a physical way, and then over those years, it's transitioned to also learning about the emotions, and then now the spiritual. But they all tie together.
Yeah.
Because your emotions, how they settle into your body physically, as a therapist, like you as working with energy in that regard, me working with the body and the energy in that regard, like we can feel it. And, you know, just by how human structure is, we can just, you know, reach over on our back and feel like knots in our back and whatever. And those
Got a couple of those.
ask the therapist what that is. It's, you know, it's a abundance of energy that's just trapped in your tissues and stress, and your body's adapting to it and trying to move through. So like Chinese medicine, having a blocked meridian, for instance, the energy blockage, it could be that, you know, it's just needing to get some help moving along, just like a massage or the energy healing and whatever that is. So
Yeah, that's super interesting. So I mean, how can you go through one of these processes to help you in a meditation session?
I think the big thing is just know what you scan yourself before you get, you know, after you do your breath work, scan yourself, see, okay, meditate, work on clearing it, and at the end, rescan and see if those blockages are still there or if stuff did loosen up. Did you pay the attention it needed?
I love that too, because Dr. Joe Dispenza,
Good guy.
I just spaced on the book. Anyway, don't put that in.
He has a book.
He has a book that Kristen's reading.
No, I read it already. I just can't remember the book. Anyway, it's just amazing, like through the workshops that he's described, how they can measure the frequency of the space, of the room, of all these people that have been in it
Wow.
before and after meditation. And it's like,
That was
It's
actually
there.
on his rewiring
Yeah.
show.
Mhm.
So they had chakras, and they showed people before, and you could see them move left and right. And then after meditation, after a week, everybody's were just perfectly aligned, and they could do energetic scan. It was so cool, and I'm like, whoa! Which brings us to like the scanning with the pendulum.
yes.
We'd always be like, oh, there's not one in, say, like your solar plexus is off center. We never thought to go left and right, and after I saw that, we actually started moving the pendulum left and right, and you can pick up whether it's on masculine or feminine.
Yeah.
Crazy scanning. That's a little out of meditation,
So-
but if you have somebody over the top of you while you're meditating laying down, that's a dope scanning method.
But it's just so, it is, and that's been used for a long time. But the fact of now, like, we're having all of the science come around full circle to actually like prove and confirm like this actually exists. So it's called Becoming Supernatural
That's it.
by Dr. Joe
Can I
Dispenza.
borrow that?
Absolutely.
Please. Don't tell Sue. I'm going to ditch the other one.
So yeah, definitely recommend the book.
Perfect.
Awesome. So say you take inventory before and after, and say there's still an area of need, or you know, that you would like to continue working on. Is that just something to keep in mind for the next session, or would you go back into
That's
a
it.
meditation session to try to clear it up?
So with my energy healing background, I would do energy work to clear it. But you got to be careful not to clear too much at once some days too. So that's a halfway loaded
Okay.
question. It's more of, I would say, how you feel. If you have more energy to clear and are willing to clear it because it's less stagnation in you. If you're exhausted, tired, and don't feel like clearing it, wait till the next day, I would say. Or pay more attention, meditate a little bit longer.
Yeah, you can only detox so much at a
Yeah,
time.
and you're
Yeah.
constantly
Yeah.
finding this wholeness too. So I mean, it's a game of endlessly just being consistent with it. I think is the biggest key. So I say there's a 50-50 answer,
Yeah.
but I'd say consistency.
Consistency for sure, because I mean, also think of it as pulling away layers of the onion too.
Yeah.
It's-
Right.
You're breaking down all of these things that have happened possibly over your lifetime, like all of these events, all of these things that you're putting through, you know, your mind is just racing through.
Yeah.
And typically to clear energy, you have to relive it too. So
Yeah.
you know,
That's-
pick your days wisely. Some of the traumas that hold you back the most are the toughest to clear. So make sure you're in the right space for it too.
Awesome.
You got to scan to get there.
Yeah, no, totally. I think that's a good final message. That's a lot for everybody, but I hope everybody got something from this one and can take that into your next meditation session. Next up is sensory deprivation in episode 4. So be checking back in with us next week on that one. And thanks for watching.